Throws it downfield. It is. Oh, it's caught.
CouchPotatoGM.com is the website. Couch Potato General Manager is the YouTube channel. You know it because you are on it. It's CPGM Drew, CPGM Juice, CPGM Headley. We're here to discuss the Cleveland Browns, 2021 Cleveland Browns, the high-flying, highly talented roster Cleveland Browns storylines going into this training camp this season. This is one of them teams where if I'm a Cleveland Brown fan, bro, I'm on my knees every morning, every night, praying, make sure nobody gets injured, because these boys can seriously make a run. But there's one, I'm not gonna say question. I say it's a question. Can Baker Mayfield continue to do what he did last year? Build on that. Kevin Stefanski got him going in the right direction.
They definitely bought in.
It was always a wait and see with those guys because the Cleveland Browns is kind of a lot of hype and everything, and it's just kind of like I don't know. And then they made the playoffs last year. You saw when Baker was doing his, in rhythm thing and getting the ball out on time. You saw the Cleveland Browns at their best, and this team only got better in the offseason. This team's only is going to go where Baker Mayfield takes them, because everywhere else, this team is one of the most talented, and in some cases, some people might say they're the most talented team in the league. I would argue it a little bit.
Arguably.
I can name a couple of teams that can challenge them, but just in talking position by position, player by player,
both sides of the ball.
I'm not hating. You know what I mean? I can't tell the person they're wrong. You know what I mean? So
yeah, man. We agree on this one. The storyline is Baker Mayfield the guy, top to bottom of this roster, man. You spoke about it. I don't really see any weaknesses, man. You could point to the linebacker position, but I like the addition of Anthony Walker from Indianapolis. I think that's going to be big for that unit. So it's all on you. It's a good position to be in if you're that guy. And I'm sure Baker is a confident guy. He's a confident guy to know that, he is that guy. So, definitely because the run game, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, the offensive line, the weapons, Odell back. Defensively, you got Clowney opposite Myles Garrett. You know what I'm saying? You got the safeties. You brought in Josh Johnson. It's just Delpit. Is Delpit healthy? He got to stay on the field, man. So, yeah, man, is Baker the guy? It's going to tell a lot this year. If he's not the guy the next 2 years, then with that roster, it's hard to keep that roster. And if you don't got that quarterback, your window gets really small. So, we'll see.
Before I get into my storyline, my particular interest in this particular team going into the 2021 season, what do you guys think about the notion that Baker's a better quarterback when Odell's not in the lineup?
Only thing I think is psychologically, and that's what Baker Mayfield. Thinking that you have to get him the football.
Right.
Because Odell on the field, you can't be better without him unless it's something psychologically like you think you got to lock on to him. Because Odell's is a talent.
And I don't know if Odell's one of those players, is Mishan. I don't think that's the case. I think we probably would have heard that by now. But there's always storylines about – not to that degree. But, Throw Me the Damn Ball. Y'all read that book?
Classic.
Classic. I just
just for the name, bro.
Right. There's always and maybe it's fantasy heads. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm just seeing a bunch of fantasy heads, but there's always a storyline about Baker not getting him the football when he's when he's in there and he's healthy. Yeah. They got to get on the same page, and it's just like, what if you're winning? That stuff will work itself out. Odell only got to catch
Odell is
140, bro.
Odell is a uber talented diva.
I understand. No, I
get it. And I don't want to take anything away from Odell's talent. There's no denying his ability, but he wants the ball. And any receiver worth their salt is not okay with not getting the ball. You know what I'm saying? And in his case, he gets disengaged. Whereas some receivers, of course, they're frustrated, but they'll work through it. He becomes disengaged, and it affects his play. It affects his temperament. It affects his teammates. It affects the quarterback.
To me, that's on the coach, because that's one of those things where
maybe to a degree.
We're gonna throw some bubble screens. We're gonna allow him to touch the football.
Get him his touches early. Yes. Get him lathered up early. I agree with that.
Just in case he don't get those 4 balls that he thought he should have got.
Sure.
Because he was open.
Sure.
Well, Odell, we got you these 4 balls over here, right?
Design it up, scheme it up for him so you
Correct.
can get him involved. It's a catch-22, man, because as from a Stefanski standpoint, he is an offensive mind. He has his game plan, he has his scripted plays, he has something that has worked. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Particularly when you got Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt in that background, and that offensive line in front. And when Baker is allowed to just go back and just throw to the open guy, he's fine. But as Headley mentioned, there seems to be some kind of psychological pull on him where he feels like I have to get the ball to Odell. I got to get him involved. There's culpability that goes around with respect to that, including the receiver, quarterback, and the coach. They got to figure that part of it out. My storyline, you mentioned his name. You talked about a few players on the defensive side of the ball, but I'm really interested about this defense. And of course, we know Myles Garrett. He appears to be an Avenger. He looks like an Avenger to me.
Different.
He looks different. I don't know if you guys saw. I mean, obviously, you guys saw him
creative player, bro.
At the NFL draft when he was announcing that pick. Oh my God.
Yeah.
But his counterpart, Clowney, Jadeveon Clowney. You know, we could talk about Anthony Walker. We could talk about JOK. That's my guy. John Johnson. That's my guy. You know what I mean? There's a lot to like about this defense, but they need Jadeveon Clowney to at least flash the talent that made him a first overall pick. Last year was unacceptable. Yes, he continues to set a relatively physical edge, but it's not good enough. Now you're playing against the opposite Myles Garrett. You're going to get a ton of one-on-ones. You got to make plays, man. You got to make plays, man. There's got to be an 8, 9, 10 sack season for Clowney, in my opinion, for it to be the juice being worth the squeeze. Because last year was a huge disappointment. It was a huge disappointment, and it's been a bit of a disappointment throughout his career. There's been some peaks and valleys. This has to be a special season, and if it is, Cleveland has personnel to really compete with the likes of Buffalo and Kansas City. They were just a few inches away from beating Kansas City in the playoffs last season, right? So having that guy opposite Myles Garrett to be able to put pressure, affect the quarterback, can go a long way in them getting over the hump and possibly representing the AFC in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think, man, it's what Clowney are you going to get? You know, we've seen him flash, like you said, but this goes back to before he was drafted. That was the knock on Clowney,
right?
Is, you know, how much dog he has. He's going to always bring it. And, you know, we've seen him take some things off, man. You know, last season, like you said, it's unacceptable. And we don't know what Clowney, again, is he about the money? I'm not sure, but, you know, that's big opposite Myles Garrett because, you know, those two guys coming at you is like 2 seconds, man. That's all you got in the pocket.
This is his fourth team, guys. Now you're playing opposite Myles Garrett. There are no excuses whatsoever that there have been injuries. But again, of course, like you said, the dog mentality, is it there? Is the work ethic there? Is the drive there? Is the relentlessness snap after snap? He's in a favorable position. This has to be a special year for Jadeveon Clowney. And I think if it is, it's going to be a special year for the Browns.
And I think piggybacking off of, in terms of the defense, the corners got to stay healthy, bro. Them boys ain't.
That's true.
Bro.
Newsome.
Whatever they doing out there, they gotta somebody. I don't know, bro. I don't know what they're doing, but the corners got to stay healthy. Browns fans, let us know down in the comment section your take on your team going into the 2021 season. CouchPotatoGM.com. Like, subscribe, comment.